Compliments have a unique power. When spoken genuinely and delivered with confidence, they can break barriers, stir emotions, and create unforgettable moments. For older men who are interested in younger women, understanding the art of giving the right kind of compliment is not just useful, it's essential. A simple "you're beautiful" is no longer enough. In fact, it's overused, generic, and lacks the emotional depth younger women crave. If you're an older man stepping into the modern dating world, you need to realize that younger women aren't just drawn to surface-level praise. They seek emotional intelligence, presence, and authenticity. The compliments that truly melt them are the ones that connect with their identity, their spirit, their ambitions, and their sense of being seen, not just looked at. And when an older man learns to compliment in a way that's tailored, respectful, and full of subtle emotional insight, he suddenly stands out in a world full of immature players and attention-hungry peers. Younger women are often navigating a world where validation is given but rarely meaningful. They're bombarded with superficial approval on social media, but what they deeply crave is to be understood. When an older man who's seen the world, who carries maturity in his voice and calmness in his demeanor, gives a compliment that cuts through the noise, it leaves an impact. It makes her pause. It makes her feel special, not in a fleeting way, but in a deeply lasting one. Compliments from an older man carry weight when they're delivered right, because they are perceived as earned, intentional, and thoughtful. And the moment she realizes you're not just saying what she wants to hear, but what she needs to hear without even knowing it, that's when attraction ignites. Let's dive into this silent emotional game. The first kind of compliment that turns younger women's hearts into open books is one that recognizes effort rather than outcome. Instead of simply saying "you look great," an older man can say, "I admire the way you carry yourself." It's confident but never loud. That hits differently. She realizes you're seeing the intention behind her choices, not just the surface results. And here's the real game changer. When you compliment her choices, her mindset, or her vibe, you're indirectly saying, "I notice you in ways others don't." This creates a sense of intimacy, of personal attention that penetrates beyond the physical. You become memorable. You become rare. Another compliment that younger women melt over is one rooted in curiosity and emotional depth. When an older man says, "There's something about your energy that's so grounding, it's calming to be around you," she doesn't just hear praise, she feels recognized. In a fast-moving world where people rarely take the time to feel, you're offering emotional validation that's addictive. And it's especially powerful coming from a man who's lived through seasons of life. Younger women often see older men as emotionally evolved. When that expectation is confirmed with thoughtful compliments, her trust and attraction deepens. She starts to feel safe in your presence, not just physically but emotionally. That's where true connection begins. A compliment about her intellect, her ambitions, or how she expresses herself is another subtle seduction tactic. Imagine saying, "The way your mind works is beautiful." You see connections most people miss. Suddenly, you're not just appreciating her beauty, you're appreciating her brain, her uniqueness, her depth. In a society that still sometimes reduces women to their looks, a compliment about her intelligence feels like a breath of fresh air, especially coming from an older man. It shows that you're not threatened by her brilliance. You celebrate it. That creates instant emotional chemistry, and chemistry rooted in respect, that's long-lasting. Many older men underestimate how powerful compliments about dreams and passions can be. When a man says, "I can tell how passionate you are about what you do," it's inspiring. It encourages her. It shows support without judgment. It allows her to feel emotionally open around you. Remember, younger women are often still chasing dreams, still forming identities. Compliments that uplift her journey, rather than objectify her in the moment, build a bridge of trust. And once trust is built, attraction flows naturally. You're no longer just older, you're aspirational. You become someone who doesn't just admire her body, but who values her growth. That's a rare find in the dating world. And what about compliments that reflect back her emotional impact on you? This is often overlooked by men of all ages. When you tell a younger woman, "You make things feel lighter when you're around," or "Your presence has a way of making people feel better about themselves," you're showing her that she brings value just by being herself. These compliments are not about performance. They're about presence. And presence is powerful. These types of compliments create a warm emotional loop. She feels seen for her being, not her doing. That's what melts her defenses. That's what opens her heart. There's also the powerful effect of recognizing her uniqueness in a world of repetition. When you say, "There's a freshness to the way you speak about things, it's rare," or "You have a voice that doesn't just speak, it resonates," you're letting her know she stands out. You're letting her know that she leaves an impression. Compliments like this create a kind of psychological exclusivity. She starts to feel like there's something about your presence that makes her come alive. And in many ways, that's the highest form of emotional intimacy. When a woman feels more herself around you, more free to express, She doesn't just want your attention, she wants your presence more often. But none of this works if your delivery lacks authenticity. Tone, timing, and eye contact matter. Younger women are incredibly intuitive. They can sense fake flattery from a mile away. That's why it's crucial that older men take their time. Pause before speaking. Let your words land. When you give a compliment, make it about her, not your desire. Say it in a way that feels real, not rehearsed. And never expect anything in return. The most powerful compliments are given with zero agenda. Ironically, that's exactly what makes them so seductive. You become a man who doesn't need to impress, because you already impress by simply being present, thoughtful and aware. It's also important to note what not to do. Don't compare her to other women. Don't say things like, "You're mature for your age," which might sound condescending. Don't overdo it with praise that feels generic, like "You're so hot" or "You're perfect." That may seem complimentary, but it lacks depth. Instead, make your words tailored, personalized, something she's unlikely to hear from anyone else. That's how your compliment becomes a memory, not just a moment. That's how your words echo in her mind long after you part ways. That's how a younger woman begins to associate you with emotional connection, maturity, and intrigue. The truth is, younger women often crave what most younger men don't yet know how to give: emotional presence, attention to detail, and compliments that connect with the inner woman. When an older man taps into this power not by being flashy, but by being thoughtful, he becomes irresistible in ways that are hard to explain but impossible to ignore. Your words begin to shape how she sees herself. That's influence, that's power, and when used responsibly, that power creates deep mutual respect and attraction. Many older men fear that younger women are looking for something they can't offer, but in reality, what most younger women crave is not youth or wild adventure. They crave stability, emotional intelligence, and someone who listens without trying to dominate. Your compliments, when done right, embody all of that. They reflect your journey, your depth, your ability to recognize beauty beyond the physical, and that, to a younger woman who's tired of shallow games, is unbelievably attractive. Don't underestimate the ripple effect of a well-placed compliment. It can open doors, unlock conversations, and shift her entire perception of you. It can take you from just another man trying his luck to someone who gets her, someone who sees her beyond the mask. And once she feels that level of safety and intrigue around you, the age difference becomes irrelevant. What matters is how you make her feel about herself, and if your compliments consistently make her feel appreciated, empowered, and emotionally energized, you won't have to chase her attention, she offer it willingly. In the end, complimenting a younger woman as an older man isn't about trying to appear young. It's about being rooted in your wisdom and letting that shine through your words. It's about understanding that true charm isn't in the lines of your face, it's in the lines you say. The lines that speak to her spirit, not just her looks. And once you master that, you'll find that younger women don't just listen to you, they lean into you. They open up, they become curious, and many will melt not because you said what she wanted to hear, but because you said what no one else had the insight to say.